Gibby, this is your favorite topic. Are we getting too soft with this cold weather in school?
No, I don't think so. I don't blame him at all. I hate cold weather. So, just stay home, stay warm. Hey, when it's negative like 20s and 30s, do you realize there's people in this country that think we just
from the Justin Live
they don't even
Network
there's like
Scrib and Jim.
mentally challenged, and then there's people that live in the Midwest. I really do think people think that. When I tell folks that I have a buddy that lives in Florida that we had negative 25 or 30 wind chill, they're like, "How do you survive in that? Do you walk outside and die?"
I was outside looking at buildings today with a guy because he wanted to show me all his buildings, and I'm like, okay. It was cold.
Let's do this on a different day.
Yeah, that was exactly what my thought process was.
Yeah.
But remember Friday night, it was kind of snowy, blowing. You and I were calling a game.
Yeah.
I saw Travis Gibson walk up with 2 chairs. He had his big parka on. He walked in like a frozen statue. He was so cold. And he turned.
I didn't walk in like a frozen statue.
You were
I
a
was a
frozen
frozen statue.
There's
a difference.
He is such a baby about this stuff. I mean, think about it. He was used to be a big, burly football player. When you want to play when it's cold out, not him.
No, I used to do that. And then when I moved to the islands, I realized what a big, burly dip dong I was to think that that's okay.
You still are a big
burly and dick dong. Don't ever go in the same sentence as you.
Well, I just think, at the end of the day, whatever they got to do, but what I just laughed at myself this morning as we go to the gym, I was finally showed up again. It was like -9.
Show up.
So we couldn't get the kids out to the bus stop at -9. I get it. But when we did, it was technically -13.
Oh, it was colder when they got on the bus.
I know.
It didn't make any sense.
That's what I mean. They could have been in a warm school.
But I do think it is a bit funny that we're like, geez, it's not even that bad when it's -10.
Well, they're going to Russia.
Bad.
It's -40.
I don't care. It's Russia. I don't live in Russia for a reason.
I saw that analogy somewhere. People are like, what are we doing not going to school today? And somebody's like, well, it's -30 over in China and Russia. And I'm like, well, that's a good point. It's probably that somewhere in Alaska, too, when they just live it.
Right.
I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, back in the day, we probably would have had shorts on going to school as old as we are. But speaking of that, they did go to school, and we'll find out tomorrow. But we got to catch up. I mean, we just caught back up 4 days ago. But there's been some stuff that's happened since then.
Yes, there has been.
So we're going to start off with girls basketball. Girls basketball played Friday. They ended up losing good hard-fought game to Menominee, a game that – I mean, there was a good game. We got down by a lot. They cut it back to 5 twice in the second half. Some really good games. Some really good plays. There's just some good opportunities for other girls to get in there. Maddie Comroe had a really good
16
game.
16 points, I think, out of a freshman.
Career high.
It's awesome.
Miley Covey still does her thing.
Yeah, she did. She turned it on, man. She scored like 12 points in 2 minutes. I mean, she can score in bunches.
Yeah, she's
watch.
good, and you're just starting. You got to take the positives. And I just see there's some really good things coming with this girls basketball program. Young girls showing up, seniors still doing what they got to do, play hard, and it's fun to see. But the exciting part about it is they go into the seeding thing on Sunday at 11, and they come out with a home game. So they're going to wrap up their season here tomorrow and Friday, and then next week they'll be playing home Tuesday night against Merrill, I believe it is, right, Justin? I sent you, so it'll be a home game. So
yeah,
that's really exciting.
Outstanding. I mean, just move it in the right direction, right?
Yeah, and that's exciting to see. I was talking to Coach Ritzer, and like, hey, hey, how do we next year we go for a home game? And then because we were trying to decide that is there a possibility. I figured if we'd beat Menominee, we'd get a home game for sure. But the idea that we end up getting a home game anyway is awesome. So I think it's really good. Just the culture change, the shift change. Hey, we're getting there. So it's exciting to see, and it's really awesome for the girls to be back home for another playoff game. And this is a team that similar schedules, similar records. So I think it's one that, let's just go out there and let's get the victory.
Right.
And then,
you got win a playoff game, and that'd be huge for the program. Same with the volleyball program. They won their first playoff game in a long time. So awesome.
I think that's awesome. And then the same night against the same team in Menominee, the boys basketball picked up a big victory against Menominee. We were trying to get the audio and the video of the game-winning shot. So Moose was trying, but it's just not working out. But we can talk about halftime. Alex Ani gets a long rebound, dribbles between two defenders, reaches back like this, and throws a half-court shot up. Boom. In. So a little buzzer beater there for Alex Ani. And then at the end of the game was a really good finish. I was watching a little bit during the girls' game, trying to pay attention to the girls' game because that was more important for me calling it, but I was catching some of it, seeing that we had a big lead. They got behind, and they come back, and with 4.77 seconds left, Coach Ryan Lees called a timeout after 2 free throws and draw up a play. Style right through it to Jack Charbonneau right in the middle. He dribbles up. Defense collapses. Initially intended, I think, for Connor Raleigh is what I've been told. Charbonneau looks left, hits Abe Munson in the corner. Abe shoots a three-pointer. Nothing but
the net.
Game winner. So
it's awesome.
You're starting to see the boys again. We've talked about it last week. Like, hey, they got Charbonneau back, and they're just gelling a little bit better, and it's fun to see. And I think, again, a couple people asked me over the weekend, like, what can this team do? And I said, I think they can surprise some people. Again, we played the Memorials, the Hudson, they're D1. River Falls, obviously D2 with us, but we play some tough competition, and we've done well. So I think it's one of those things, like, when the playoff season starts, they got to play together as a team.
Yep.
And if they play well, I think this is a team that can make some noise. They could definitely knock somebody off, I think. But it's fun. It's a good
awesome
team, right? You can shoot from outside. They got Nick and Jack Charbonneau, so the big guys. So you never know. So it'll be fun. Moose, no go. I just want to hear his voice.
Sorry, guys. We were trying to take it off of Facebook, and you don't just download those videos. I was trying to webpage it. It was.
That's all right. Hey, we'll get better.
A for effort, Moosey.
Well,
Guys, this is the best I can do when we have 10 minutes of preparation.
that's fine. Hey, if you want to just go out onto the Tiger website and Richmond Basketball on Facebook, and you can see it. I mean, it's pretty cool, and maybe we'll shoot a link out there from our.
Yeah, we could do
good
it.
Call from the Menominee boys too. They did a good job calling it.
Yeah, I don't think it's been as good as we would have called it because we are top notch.
I probably wouldn't.
You would have been going nuts.
Oh, I know how Gibby would have been. He'd have been. I would have called the game.
Go!
Shot man!
Take it to the house! Woo! Touchdown!
You forgot Big Dog!
Yeah.
You forgot it all. But anyhow, it would have been way more exciting than what you...
Game over, folks.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
That's exactly what he'd have been. Game over, game over. He'd have been red in the face, not from the suntan or the sunburn.
No.
Hey, bring the passion, baby. Let's go.
But let's finish it up with the hockey. Hockey clinched the Big Rivers Conference against Hudson. We talked about that, but they did end up playing again Thursday night against Chippewa Falls. Won, so they are outright Big Rivers Conference champs, and they got a 3 seed, so they'll be playing next Thursday. 8 o'clock, did you say, or 7?
They play at 7.
7 at home, so winner of
Stars.
And this is next Thursday?
next Thursday.
The
Yep.
Stars got a 2 seed, so they're
No,
co-op.
actually, it's this Thursday.
It's this Thursday.
Yeah, sorry, this Thursday.
Sorry,
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Yep. And then the Stars.
Girls basketball is next Tuesday. Hockey is this Thursday. Boys basketball will be another week of games. So they play this week and next week. And then
Girls hockey is this Thursday as well, getting the 2 seed.
two seeds. So that's awesome. So I think for the boys, this is one we talked a little bit, and I just want to catch up again on is, hey, they've really, I would say, are coming in. They're playing well offensively. Like goaltending, I think, is one that we know they're young between the freshman and the sophomore. It's all about riding a hot goalie, right? If they can get into the playoffs and get a goalie that's hot and stick with them, and
because we can score some goals, man.
Yeah, we can score
no doubt
goals.
about that.
But I think what you're going to find, though, you're going to run into a good goaltender.
Those goals get tougher as the season gets farther in, or deeper.
Yeah, especially you got to believe in some of the Division One. You're going to see. I mean Hudson. We might face them again. So, hey, I think the team can do it, and it's going to be exciting to see. So, another one we got to talk about though is, and I just read up on it today, and I got the old Google box right here in front of me. That New Richmond wrestling. Now we haven't talked about it. I know we brought it up before.
None of us are big wrestlers. It's probably.
I did it 1 year.
Hold on here.
Sorry.
1 year.
Oh, what is your official record?
2-0, baby. Let's go. I think 2-0. I was undefeated. I can't remember. I think it was 2 matches.
It might have been 1-0, but he had to get 2 to make it.
No, it was actually 2 because I think I wrestled the same guy twice.
Oh my God! And didn't you tell me that? And if I remember right, they let you win, right? That guy.
No.
That
They felt bad.
They felt bad and
No.
felt like it was one of those deals, huh?
Yeah.
He walked in, this knuckle dragger. They're like, what do we do with him?
Jesus, what are we doing here? All right, what I got here is the New Richmond Tigers showcased a strong performance at WIA Regionals. They placed second behind Menominee. So Menominee, I think, had 205.5 points, and the Tigers had 191.
That's awesome.
So that's awesome. So they move on to team sectionals, which, if I read the article, I got to get the old cheaters on.
Yeah, you get
Let me get the cheaters on.
Grandpa Brian.
Grandpa Brian, Jesus.
You do look like a grandpa by the
there
way.
was
with those
something
glasses.
like-
My good grief. Just don't wear those.
Oh, my God.
Poor Lindsay. My gosh.
They had it's been a while since they moved on, but they do move on for sectionals. So that's really cool. I think it's something awesome. Now we had 2 first place finishes in Jackson, Lawrence, and Luke Camish. Obviously, Luke has gone to state for a while. I think two the last 2 years, and then I know Sturba, Carter Sturba was second place as well. So that's a really good. I think is awesome. So it's good to see that. And we'll see where the Tigers can go at sectionals. So that's awesome. And then just the individual performances as well. So I got to look through here. Gibby, you could talk. That'd be really nice for once.
Well,
Walker
I can't get any
Weidlich.
Edwards.
He's just sitting listening.
I
we
just,
all
you know,
are. Me and
yeah,
Gibby
I'm
are having
just-
our own
just
conversations
amazed by
over
you.
here.
Well,
talking.
Walker Weidlich placed third. Ben Wilhelm placed third. Sturba second, as I stated. Ethan Otto fourth. Camish first. Landon Cook fourth. Noah Zanin third. Charlie Shatner third. Adam Wilhelm fourth. Ethan Fagnan fourth. And Alex Solberg fourth. And then Matthew Falks fifth. So, and then the girls were there too. So Peyton Weidlich placed second. Teresa Glennon fifth. So I think it's fun to see. It's been a few years since I've seen a team place that had, since I've been down here, that I've kind of noticed. So head coach Jeff Swanson's got the program rolling in the right direction, but 2 first place finishes, 2 second place finishes. So that's awesome. So, good luck to all the wrestlers out there. They'll still have team sectionals on Thursday, I think it was, or Tuesday it might have been. And then they have, individuals this weekend. So it'll be fun to see who can make it on down to Madison, right? Wrestling sets the stage. It goes wrestling, then it goes hockey, then it goes girls basketball, and then boys basketball. So it'll be good to see. And then I know more people did get last chance for powerlifting was in Cameron this week, and I know our boy D-Rock.
D-Rock and both these.
I know both. Daisy did in her first match.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
didn't, and that's the one thing. Like we talked about it. Dennis is passing the torch on. It's just
Yeah.
Dennis now. It's not D-Rock, because
It's
the real D-Rock is Daisy.
Oh,
I think.
all right.
Well,
all right. Well,
I mean, she just took her one meet, took Dennis two, but
yeah.
we won't call him out. Well, maybe we just did. No, I know one thing that Moose wanted to talk about. I was going to try to avoid this time, but Moose wanted to talk about Wisconsin Badgers. So,
basketball,
Moose, so
okay.
what did you want to talk about him again?
How
Moose?
we want to move right past them.
Oh! Well, your Badgers had a big victory this week. They're in the top 4 yet in the Big Ten, but they jumped all the way up to 11th. They had a really good performance, beating Purdue in Purdue. That's a tough one, and they've been playing really well. The one thing I did want to note, and this affects all of us, including you, is you think about this. I don't remember the exact numbers, but AJ Storr, star guard last year for the Badgers, paid over $1 million to go play in Kansas. Maybe sit the bench.
Yeah.
Chucky Hepburn paid quite a bit of money by Louisville. He is having a very good season.
Okay.
Now, A.J. Storr and Chucky Hepburn, the backcourt for the Badgers, excellent backcourt last year. They're gone. Greg Gard brought in, Blackwell we had, but then John Tange. And John Tange is tearing it up. Don't forget about Kamara McGee shooting over 50% from the three-point line. It's
That's
just crazy. But is one interesting thing, so you can think about the NIL money that went out to these two players that the other teams paid. Now, Greg Gard has openly said that he is preparing and they're working hard to keep John Blackwell through NIL and Noah Winter. So
Just got to sell more
interesting.
beer. That's all they got to do. Though.
Yeah, but I mean, Winter's a player from the cities over here having a heck of a season.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting, right? To do that, and now it's already like, hey, we're gonna have to pay these guys to get them to stay,
Dynamics
and
of
it's
the new college, right?
But more coaches leaving. Tony Bennett left he just quit. I mean, some of these guys are just done with it.
Right. No,
Because they can't take it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not fun.
back to football quick though. But
Yes.
that's exactly what happened with Saban. I think Saban
Yeah,
thought
he
the
didn't
game
wanna
was going
deal
in a
with it.
direction he didn't like, and it's
Yep.
no longer what he was, so he moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I would totally agree.
And he's a blast to watch right next to McAfee.
Oh,
on
those
game
two
day.
are great, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think what's interesting, some of the things he says, and I agree, it's fun, but it's like, I don't know. It's interesting his mentality now that he's out, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, hey, one thing we want to touch on, we haven't touched on for a while, and I know it's something that is near and dear to our hearts, specifically Moose, because I think that's one that, when you have 18 kids,
Right. It gets expensive.
youth sports.
Just kids.
18, huh?
Wasn't how many you have now? I can't keep track.
Moose.
He's thinking.
I lost him. I lost track. Sorry.
We got to get a video back of you because that, you're just thinking there. It was a great video.
It was. Yeah. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, just the things he's doing.
But anyways, youth sports.
Yeah, what do you got for us there? It's been a while. I wanted to kind of talk about youth sports and Sundays. I got an article from a longtime listener of this, Father John in town here, about youth sports and Sundays, where
That is a
that's
big
going,
one.
and it's one that him and I've had many conversations about it. And we don't normally have many sports on Sundays. Now, AAU basketball clicks into it. Some of the travel basketball does more in Minnesota.
Yep.
Which is kind of different. It's interesting. Like travel sports in Minnesota is so much different than Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. There's
Like-
no doubt about it.
Even high school, though. High school plays a lot of sports on Wednesdays. People
Yeah.
don't realize that in Minnesota, a lot of your high school
Right.
basketball game is Wednesday.
Wow.
Which,
I did not know that.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, specifically in the Northwest here where we're at, like that's sacred, right? Like,
Right.
We can't even
it's
practice
nice,
past
actually.
six.
Yeah, it's nice to know that you have Wednesdays. I love that, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting, though, because we're going to take our thoughts about that on Sundays, right? Like you say it's nice. Oh, because it's nice. But you'll go to a volleyball game on a Sunday for
Well, there's no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
but yet you like the idea of not Wednesdays during the week. It's just kind of interesting. It's not a bad thing. Like I'm with you, but it's how we are so used to around here. Like nothing happens on a Wednesday, right?
And
That's
if it was
sacred.
up to me, I would love it to be that way. Just personally, this weekend, Coco had a tournament over in the cities, and it was in Bloomington, and then we had to go to Forest Lake on Sunday for the bracket play. And I was really looking forward to going to church. I go to Eaglebrook over in Woodbury, and Bob Merritt, who's our retired pastor, was going to be speaking. So I was super excited about that. And then we found out, Coco now plays at 9:00, which is right when. This is when we go to church over there. So it was one of those deals where, again, and then you have to make that decision. We can all, I'm sure listeners are like, well, you had the choice to go or not to go, and I agree with that. But it is a difficult choice to make, and it shouldn't be, but it is. Let's just be honest. And I do wish that they left Wednesdays and Sundays alone. But even more than that, I think, Scrib, they're actually even playing games now during the week. We're talking like, travel-wise, like you got to take Friday off of school or you got to take Monday off of school to travel to go play in these tournaments. So it's even pushing into that as well.
Yeah, I think it's more the Minnesota leagues are because they traditionally don't have. They have Martin Luther King and President's Day off. That's
Yep.
a big thing over in the cities or in Minnesota where they have those days off,
Yeah.
and they'll run a lot of tournaments on those. I
Yep.
know specifically softball in the past. I've seen it where they'll run dome ball tournaments on those days.
Yep.
Because for Minnesota, they don't got to take a day of school off because
Right.
they're off.
Right. It's perfect.
If you're in Wisconsin, depending on your school,
Your
right?
district.
You might have it off. You might not. Like traditionally, President's Day. I don't know many schools that have it off.
Right.
But it's always weird because we don't have President's Day off, but we have this Friday and Monday off.
Yeah.
And it's like
for conferences.
for conferences, but it's like why wouldn't you just have what other people have off? But it's interesting and going back to the Sunday thing, like. I think part of why you're starting to see so many sports on it is because of the cost of it.
Well, yeah.
As cost goes up, you got to play. Everybody wants to play more. You have only so many gyms, only so many competitors, so you got to play more days.
Yeah.
And I really think it is, and I think it's one that I'm with you. I would like to, how do you get it? I'd like not to play on Sundays. I'd like that to be a family day. Like Moose, what is your opinion on it? I did it specifically as you sit in mute.
I'm actually emailing right now on some playoff stuff for live streaming.
Oh, sure.
But Sundays are tough. I always dislike Sundays. Coming from I had a kid that played hockey, so he'd always have a couple tournaments a year. And then, like for hockey, when you're traveling, you don't like getting back late, so you're like, you hope they're not in the championship game, which takes, I remember sitting, Mac had practice in New Richmond. He had practice at 6:00, and the game from the tournament that weekend on a Sunday. And the game from the tournament that weekend went over because they were running behind in the tournament. It was like 6:45 by the time they finally got done and out of there. The team was from Green Bay.
Oh
Right.
my God.
So like that kind of stuff, it's so much. It takes so much out of a family. I get Sundays for a 2-day tournament, trying to get more games in and have a whole tournament. I get it, but I'm not saying I like it.
Well, and I think that's the interesting point too. Is I think what an article I was reading, like I said, I got from Father John, was just about it's the religion aspect of it, which is fine. Like I don't bother talking about it. It's like people are starting to sort of make sports into a religion almost, right? Like that's more important.
Well, you're skipping church. You're skipping,
But it's not only that, you're
Sunday.
skipping the day. And I think is what this article was more about, the whole day and just the taxing, the toll it takes on families and kids, right? Because it's not only that, like part of the article is about seeing the parents that are tired. And I think about myself because I'm involved in, we had tournaments for the kids on Saturday, and then we just had open gym on Sunday. But, you got to get there. You got to get it open. What are you doing? And I was running Collins all over for her different things. It's like, it's a lot. And there's volleyball prep gym time coming up now on Sunday nights. It's like the parents are tired. And I'm thinking back to myself, I'm not tired. I'm like, well, actually, we are tired. I'm tired of driving around all the time.
I think it's our background too, right? So I grew up with a dad who farmed, and
He had a dad. I would have never known.
Yep. But he never worked Sundays. He wouldn't do anything on, we'd go to church, we'd have our family meal, but that was his day of rest. He never went out in the field. He didn't,
Unless he absolutely had to, probably, right? Like
he wouldn't.
Well, not even it was like you got to cut it today or you're messed up.
Well, we didn't have hay, so it was just crop farming. So it's
okay.
like, like even if it rained, he always figured that was, like where he wouldn't get in for a week. And if it cost him money, he always figured he got paid back in the sense of it always came around, right? So you look at the way that you're raised too. And here's the problem I have, right? Because I do horse shows and different things like that, just trying to provide for your family. I end up working on Sundays. A horse show goes for a 2 day. It's always through the weekend. So you have 20 some shows that you're doing, and every one of them is through a weekend. So how many Saturdays and Sundays do I work? No different than going to a tournament for your kid. I've been starting to look at that in my schedule going forward as well.
So you look at the time, and we'll come up with our vital stat of the week. I think it would be the average cost for youth travel sports. Moosey, you got a rough estimate for us?
Well, so I put it up on the board. As you can see, it's either. I just put a little thing, and I'll move it down as we go. Okay.
All right. It's kind of like The Price is Right with that little dude that's going up.
Scrivener didn't watch.
Now, remember,
You weren't
this
smart
is
enough for Price is Right.
So up to
I
$4
wanna-
grand is what we got.
$4,000 is the high. That's what you're going to guess for the
No,
average?
but that's what the high is.
Oh.
That is
okay.
what you had sent him. But I think what we got to call out here, we got to be very clear. This is just travel. Like, I don't think they're taking necessarily in everything as an actual AAU or a club.
No, I agree with that.
I think this is just sort of your travel leagues for your town leagues or just everything. Like, obviously, it goes bigger.
But the vital stat that I read was the average cost for travel sports is $883 a year, which I think for when you look at some of this, it's going to be real light, and people are like 800 and something. So Moosey's going to put this up here in a little bit, but we got.
What do you think the first one is?
Yeah. So yeah, here we go. I mean, I've already seen this, but the first one,
already.
volleyball.
Which I remember when we went through this.
$3,159 on average. And that, by the way, I looked at, originally when I was looking at this, I looked at a stat from 2011. Now, yes, obviously that's a long time ago, but volleyball wasn't even close to the top of the list. And now they're
leading it. And it's a phenomenon that we see around here. I mean, we really do. I think it's crazy.
The numbers in volleyball are unbelievable. I talked to Brian Nadeau, a good friend of mine who is now on the Soup Down in Ellsworth, and one of the problems with some of these is the fact that it pulls from other sports, and I get that. I mean, when Coco had a tournament down, and we were down in Milwaukee, and there was 1,100 girls playing at one time. Every hour there was 1,100 different girls playing. So who knows what those numbers were? And I think that I believe that like girls basketball in some school districts is really struggling.
Yeah, I would say girls basketball
even to fill teams.
And one is we had noticed it, and specifically an article came across from our Vital Systems man himself, Keith Comroe, about Iowa, which surprised me because of any school, any state in the last 3 years, we'll just say, because maybe Caitlin Clark's first year wasn't, but the last 3 years, I mean, Iowa's been a hotbed for basketball with Caitlin Clark. So
right, absolutely.
To think that high school is struggling in that town was just that state is kind of surprising, but I think it is. And like I tell people, basketball's you got to run.
Yeah.
I'm not saying volleyball is easy. I'm not. Because I know it's physical. I mean, not physical, but more, it's a tough, demanding sport. But you're not running nonstop like you are in basketball. And you're going left to right. And as you get older, that becomes, more aggressive and it is tougher, right? But it's not like basketball.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Right.
And I think that's a big deal. But at the end of the day, it's just nuts. Volleyball is taking over.
All right.
Everything.
Next in line, we've got gymnastics. Just a close second there, actually 27, just about 2,800. Because everybody thought it would be the next one, because I think this one's led it for a long time, and that's ice hockey. Comes in third at about $2,500. Again, third place we've got. Now this amazes me. This next one is the next one here is cheer.
Give me a G, give me an I, give me a B, B, Y.
Oh, I love Moosey. Woo! The energy he brings. No, well, just because we don't have cheer around here, right? But it's very, very heavy in the South.
We do it. We don't. I think it's getting bigger.
Okay.
I think our team went
I know
down.
in the South,
our dance
it's a
team,
big
but cheer
deal.
is big. Chris Trozen, his daughter went to NDSU. She's on the cheer team, and they were just down in Florida for. I mean, that's college now, but that's I think that's the next.
Yeah, because I'm like, cheer! I didn't even think about it. Right, just being, coming in at about $2,300. Next, this one we really don't know much about because it's frozen and we don't have any bugs ever. Is beach volleyball? We don't really play that, but yeah, beach volleyball. You'd think all you need is some sand in the net, right? But obviously, there's lots of expense that comes along. It's about $2,300 for that. Speaking of dance comes in.
Hoo-ah! Dance and hockey,
6th.
I thought were close. And, yep. I know out of my own checkbook anyway.
Right.
I mean, a checkbook that's got unlimited funds. Just check out.
Yep, I write tons of checks that bounce.
But, I mean, just thinking about them, it's an interesting thing. Like, some of these sports are, like the hockey you get. I mean, I get that. But some of the other ones are, truly just surprise me, like the volleyball, the cheer, the dance, gymnastics. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But over the years, I've realized like dance is just nuts because it's uniforms.
Costumes? Yeah,
costumes.
Do
uniforms.
we have average age of this one?
Not on this one.
I have some friends that what they pay for dance.
Oh,
light.
I think all of these numbers are light. I didn't dig real deep into these numbers because here's the numbers that you don't look at that go into this. Is you're going out to eat, right?
Yes,
you're having some adult beverages and when you're on the road trips, which tends to happen a little bit, and the hotel costs and the travel costs. I mean, you look at volleyball. I mean, it's crazy to think that $3,100 and you're like, and I'm like, I think you almost have to double that.
Here's just one note, and we'll close it on this. Your point as well. This is just uniforms, registration, bags, shoes, etc.
Yeah.
The tournament, the drives, going out to eat. We're at Brooklyn Park this last weekend for my daughter, so both daughters were there. So I was there at from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Right, just 6 games, 3 apiece.
Did you pack a lunch?
I did not. That's my point.
Shoot.
So my wife wanted an acai bowl or something like this, yogurt type bowl, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter wanted one.
Yeah.
So, nice dad I am. Yep, sure.
Give them a $10.
$12 a piece.
Well, that's
$12 a piece. Now, they also had jerk chicken there, rice bowl.
Yeah.
Along with rib tip bowls. So they had good food, but I'm like, are you kidding me? They had a Jimmy John sandwich there for $6.
Right. And it was
And I get it's fundraising. It's for the kids. We all say it. But at the end of the day, I think I walked and I looked at my card because my son had some fraud I got to clean up on. I think I went to Justin Livestream. But anyway, I think we had spent about $45 at that concessions.
yeah. And that one trip.
Well, in that one day. Because, yeah. And it was just, I mean, that's it. So, and that didn't count for stopping on the way home to eat because we were rolling through Stillwater
Oh, yeah,
at
you
like
gotta.
8:30 or something. We were starving.
Yeah, stop at Applebee's.
And that's what we did. We did, actually. Wolves and the Coles. There we were, Brutus.
I'm going to say this too, and because I have two of them, so I can say this. You look at this cost, poor families with daughters. I mean, look at this. You got volleyball, you got gymnastics. I know there's male gymnastics too, but I get that. But I'm guessing most of this is probably female gymnastics. Ice hockey could be both.
Ice hockey is both.
It is both. I understand that.
Could
but
be? Wow, welcome to
No,
1980.
I understand that.
What do we got over here?
No, get what I'm saying. Is there more boys programs than girls programs?
For hockey?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's my point.
bigger numbers.
Okay, then you got cheer. Again, you could say it's both, but the majority, okay? So you got cheer, you got beach volleyball, which again, that's probably could be close to a 50-50 split. And then you have dance. So,
Yep.
That's
Now, the
just-
one thing of volleyball, which I would say the numbers are moving, there's a lot of boys teams.
there
now.
is a lot, and that's
And
picking
that
up
might
speed
be
big time.
might be a more expensive issue because there's less. You got to travel more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's an interesting one, but
Let's go to the last one. I went
Okay,
down
yeah, let's
one by
do it.
one, right?
Yeah.
We're on football, or close to the last one. I didn't go any further.
Rugby.
Rugby.
We don't play
Rugby.
rugby.
So we're going to football.
Yeah. Think of it.
340. Think of the most popular sport in the U.S.
America.
The sport that brings in the most revenue across the board.
Yeah.
Look, they build multi-billion-dollar stadiums for 11 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or 8 games.
Yeah. High school stadiums.
High school stadiums.
$30
in the
million
millions. Yeah.
in Texas.
For 6 games.
Yeah.
7 games.
yeah, and I think that's interesting. I think that-
$350.
350 chickens. to play football.
It's is it because of the amount that you can play? You don't play football year round.
No.
No, you can't. You're
can't.
training,
You can train.
but you can't play.
And you don't
You
travel
can weight
all
train.
over.
You're not traveling all over. Typically, it's a school.
Sponsored sport.
Is it because it's so popular? It's school sponsored or it's school led or there's a youth
Well,
program. I get
something-
I
that.
think
but
it's
you
it's-
stay in town.
You
know,
stay
like, that's
more
what I
in
mean.
town, and you're not you don't have all the club teams. There's been talk that there is some club teams forming, but the problem is form all the club teams you want. If you don't have a facility to play, you're not going to be able to do
right.
it, and you can't afford the pads and everything. I think it's more to the point that you can't play as many games. You can't play 40 travel games.
Well, and here's the thing that's not in here as well, guys, because even with like baseball, I know is very popular for people to have their own hitting instructor, to have their own pitching instructor.
Yeah.
You look at football, people going into like an ETS, right, in that advanced type training, which is becoming extremely popular right now. I think it came from, college athletes foregoing their last couple games or whatever that might
Yep.
be, and all they do is train for the
Right.
train for the draft. That type of training now is getting very popular even at the high school level where they're paying
But-
a lot of money to do that type
So
of stuff.
that price may go up, but I just look at football as a whole too.
Yeah.
Take it for what it is. Like what did we have in the 9 through 12? 140 this year in New Richmond.
For football?
Yeah.
It was a big number, wasn't
It's
it?
a big number.
Yeah, it was
would
big.
say
I
about
don't think it was that though. But
It-
it doesn't matter.
130. Regardless,
yep, yep.
it's a number it's a sport that brings numbers.
And
So
revenue.
when it brings numbers, you're bringing revenue, and I talk about revenue to the national end, to the college end, but when you're in the high school end, the revenue comes in. It brings the biggest fundraisers.
Yeah.
Because there's the volume, there's the people. You're not spending. It's created its own. It's creating this. I don't want to say a monster. It's creating its own revenue because you're not charging a ton of money to play.
Right.
So hey, I can give an extra couple $100 to this fundraiser, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, it's not just 20 people that are playing; it's 200 people that are playing.
Right.
So it just
Yep, no,
adds
it's a
up
great
and
point.
compounds.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I think it's something that we love to talk about, and we're going to have to get more into it as we do and just
Yeah.
kind of really talk about our own experiences because I think that's fun.
Yeah, it is. Let's pick this up on another one.
Yeah, we'll pick it up another, and maybe we'll actually get some more
I think next week
contributions
we'll do
from.
a quick playoff and do a part
Oh, you're
do.
Yeah, so you're going to contribute?
This is called on-air production meeting. You guys can't do even
Jesus.
off-air production
No,
meetings, so
we
we got to
can't.
do it on air.
Well, come on now, Moose. We can. We just like to.
You and I can't even figure out time to golf, let alone production.
Yeah, well, we're
meeting.
busy.
I agree with
We're
that.
busy. Youth sports. We just talked about it.
You're busy with you.
Well, here's the one thing, though, is I'm busy with youth sports. You're busy with 18 kids. Gibby can't do things, and I have to fill in for him. Jesus. That's why we got to get a camera
I
over
know.
there.
I know.
And you're busy down in Florida doing whatever.
Yeah.
Complaining
I'll be gone.
about
I'll
that
be gone
it's too
this
cold
weekend,
up here. Remember, if you lived down in Florida, you wouldn't be as happy because it'd always be warm.
I
Just saying.
disagree with you 100%.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Just had to touch on some high school sports as we get into the playoff time here for the winter sports. And good luck to all the wrestlers this weekend. Powerlifting in a couple weeks, and hockey. Hey, we're gonna hit rock and roll here on Thursday. So good luck to the hockey team as they get into playoffs. So again, good luck to all the sports. I'm Scrib,
And I'm Gib.
and we got Moose
That's me.
That's you.
on the loose.